everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be opening up a bunch of event keys. The main reason for this is it is currently the Dragon's Claw event this week, and I highly suggest any of you who have event keys, or really anyone, literally everyone, spend all your event keys, spend any little bit of extra gems you have on event keys, because the legendary that drops from this is currently only the Dragon Soul. It is 100% chance, if it is a dragon, or if it is a legendary drop, that it will be the Dragon Soul. And as many of you know, the Dragon Soul is really good at farming souls, especially early on in the game. The main reason for this is it gets a static 10 souls every single time it casts, even if it's only level 1, even if you don't have it mythic or anything. It's going to be getting so many souls. The only thing that scales off its magic is the amount of explosions it does. So even as a newer player, you can do a potential 20 damage to everything with this thing at level 1 if you really wanted to. Of course, you'd want to level it some though, because it scales its explosions and it scales its other stats based on leveling, but still has a 3 times ratio on its damage that it does to all enemies as it levels up. So, of course, just with itself, it's going to be doing 11, and then if you have 2, it's 14, and 3, it's 17, and of course, if you have a whole team of dragons, you won't just be getting the dragon bonus, you'll also be getting the 20 damage to everything. One thing to note about this, for anyone who does have it traded, there were some glitches with the possession trait, and now, until they fix it in probably next patch, it's just going to have a 25% chance to resurrect after death instead of possessing another ally. So I'm pretty sure this is just a temporary change and not permanent. But currently it's kind of just like the Inferno King ability. But anyways, I'm going to be using event keys now until we get enough to get that thing up to Mythic, maybe even additional one, just so we have a copy. Like I said, any legend you get is automatically going to be the Dragon Soul this week, so you're definitely going to want to use some of your event keys, or even use some of your gold on event keys to try to get more. So now we have 3 Dragon Souls. Let's just keep going until we get it to at least Mythic. There we go, another one. So let's see, what does that bring us to? 4. Come on, let's get like 2 or 3 off this. 5, 1 every time. Okay, that is fine. Let's do it again. Can we get our 6? Yeah, let's get 2 right here. Come on. There we go. Perfect. And now we can upgrade it completely. Plus, we're getting a bunch of other ones, dragons from the kingdom, that we'll be able to upgrade as well. So let's get all of that upgraded so I can show 2 teams with them. I did do a video in the past on teams with the Dragon Soul, but now that I've had a week and we've gotten to see all different builds, and now that there's even more troops within the Dragon's Claw, I have 2 teams, one for early game and one for later on in the game that you guys will be able to use. So let's just ascend everything real quick, see what it's like at all the way at Mythic. Currently my stats should be the highest within the game, except I don't have the 1 armor from Leonis Empire, mostly because I still need the Amira upgraded, because I used all my red, purple, and the Dragon Soul instead of the Amira. But anyways, it looks like he does a whole nother explosion now, plus the extra stats that we just saw there. And let's also get the Dragon Rogue up real quick. He is the new event troop for this week, as well as the Rainbow Snake. I'll be doing a video on those later today. Just wanted to do this event key thing and show some good teams with the Dragon Soul again. Just before I get into my daily everything. So let's just get this upgraded. We actually got it all the way to Mythic, which also means the Dragon Moth is probably Mythic. I'm not going to upgrade it in this video though, just because we're not going to be needing it. I just wanted to get this one up because I'm using it in the team I'm about to show, or at least the second team I'm about to show. We're showing the late game and the early game. So late game one, I actually had someone suggest this one in stream. I am using a different banner than what they suggested though. But Green Seer, the Green Seer Giant Spider Loop with the Dragon Soul and Sylvanie Mora. We'll be having plenty of entangles between Green Seer's ability and Sylvanie Mora's legendary ability, which will basically make skulls pointless on them as long as they don't have impervious or immune to entangle on their first slot. If Green Seer happens to die, we'll have Giant Spider here, who will be able to summon a little spider there, which would also work pretty good if this thing had the previous possession Whenever they switch that back, this team would be a lot better with it too. But of course, the Dragon Soul, it'll be doing 14 damage to everything. We'll be able to loop that pretty well, and between the 14 of that and 18 of Salvani Mora, we'll be able to get them down with just full AoE damage to all the enemies. And the second one here is more for an early game build, mostly because we get all the bonus stats. The Quaidel, which is also in this event this week, has a very high attack too. And between all these bonuses, we're getting 5 extra attack on everything, 4 extra armor, and 1 extra magic. So that's definitely going to be useful early on in the game when you have lower stats. And generally with this team, it's kind of fairly similar to the one we already just showed, but we'll be able to buff up with Dragon Tar, and Dragon Soul will of course be doing 20 damage now because we have a whole team of dragons as long as they all survive. And even if just the Quaidel dies, it'll go down to 17. We have the banner set to that because if the Quaidel dies, we won't have yellow anymore, so it won't really matter if we're not giving it yellow. As far as traits for this team, all you'd really need in early game, if any, is just get the Dragon Bond on all of them, which have the first trait of Dragon Bond, so that would help. So just on Quaidel and Dragon Tar. The rest of the traits you can pretty much ignore, and the team will be perfectly fine. So let's actually go use those teams real quick. Let's see, up against, what is this, Queen Mabs. So let's use the first team. We'll be looping them pretty well. Soothsayer already has a relatively low attack. The main thing we need to worry about is converting out the blues so Valkyrie and Queen Mabs don't do too much to us. But luckily we have 2 troops for that. Green Seer and Giant Spider can both remove those. So that shouldn't be too big of a deal as long as we get a nice starting board on this. And then we'll just be able to start looping between the 2. And of course, all we need to do is cast the Dragon Soul 4 times, and we'll reach the max souls for the match. So we'll take red here. Was hoping for another red drop. We could just bypass the purple blocking and just take reds if we really needed to. But of course, we do get more mana if we were to take purple, which I'm probably going to do right here. Hopefully it doesn't take these yellows or interrupt those browns, and it does interrupt it though. It'll just use Soothsayer again. I might want to take blue here, but then again, take these. It'll probably use Soothsayer, which is why... Okay, nope, it did go for Valkyrie. I was hoping it wouldn't have done that. So it converted out our Grange, which is really bad because we were about to use that convert. And eventually he'll end his turn, likely with a Queen Mab that'll waste her turn because I don't believe there's enough blue on the board right now. And we also have Mana Shield if you happen to have the first trait on it, which so Queen Mab's not even going to be able to do anything. The new Quaidel Rainbow Snake troop also has the Mana Shield as well. A lot of things are starting to get Mana Shield, even though Queen Mab is pretty much already fallen off the meta. And anything that has Mana Burn has pretty much fallen off the meta too, because there's just been so much countering it to make Queen Mab less effective that everything that does it is pretty much useless now. Or not useless. Early on in the game, it's probably still really good. But I know I basically never see it anymore later in the game. Like the Jackalope thing that was added to Glacial Peaks. I don't even see that ever. I saw it for like the first week and then it disappeared forever. So now we're gonna explode a bunch of gems. We'll get 14 damage onto everything because we have 2 dragons on the team. And at this point, we can pretty much start looping. There's going to be restricted some if they ever freeze us. Luckily, we did just unfreeze, so we'll be able to convert out those blues there, which is Valkyrie and the Queen Mab's need. We'll keep entangling. All skulls are pointless to him, of course. We'd be wanting to give him all the souls anyways, but now, I mean, all of the skulls anyways, because they're, even if he was doing skull damage, it wouldn't be that effective, and Soothsayer has such a low attack. But now we essentially just keep looping over and over again, casting whatever we want until he eventually, inevitably loses. Of course, we'd want to use Dragon Soul as many times as possible to make sure we can get the max soul cap of 40 per match, plus all of your bonuses. And I believe that's like our second or third cast. We'll just be able to get it up with, if that purple wasn't there, we just would have been able to get it up with the Tremor on our Salvani Mora. And other than that, we just keep looping over and over again. He'll tap us occasionally with that, but it's almost impossible to lose against the Queen Mab if you have Mana Shield on. So this Dragon Soul is definitely going to beat that very easily. Look at that. Everything else on our team's like almost dying, but this thing will never die to that. And since it does literally nothing. And there we go, more souls. Hopefully we can get one more cast on that. That didn't surge, so we were 1 mana short, unfortunately. We'll be able to do that with a Salvani Mora, and then our next cast is the win. And that should be max souls, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's 4 casts. I haven't been keeping track exactly, but if it is, that's exactly what a Valkyrie would do. We did it with the Dragon Soul. So a really, really good soul alternative if you don't want to use Valkyrie. And yep, there we go, the max soul capacity, which is 40 plus bonuses. Oh, also one thing I should mention about PvP this week, which I'll mention again in later when I do the other video later today with the redeem code. But we would go through this quicker, right? Go. Because last week was red-yellow from Adana, and Dragon's Claw is also red-yellow, and the fact that they just added the Rainbow Snake. What they actually did for ranked rewards this week, if you get within the top 1,000, are Celestial Trait Stones. Any of you early on in the game, you might want to try for getting into the top 1,000 or something this week. As long as you have a solid team and you're about level 100-ish or higher, you should be able to really easily get here if you have the time within the week. Like, as long as you have like over a 60% win rate, you're pretty sure if you play enough, you'd easily be able to get in this top 1,000. And Celestial Trait Stones, I know some of you might be a little bit low on it. Later on in the game, you get like a huge abundance of these, but any of you who might be low, placing within the top 1,000 on the PvP leaderboard this week will give Celestial Trait Stones. Realistically, you'll likely get somewhere within only getting 1 or 2, somewhere between the top 1,000 to the top 21-ish. Most likely even more towards just the bottom triple digits is likely where you will fall if you try. But of course, just getting a free Celestial Trait Stone from that might be worth it if you really need to trait some kind of legend, a mythic, or something of the like, and you've been having trouble trying to farm them. It might be a good idea to try getting high on the leaderboard this week. So let's go into the second battle now. A very annoying one we're going to be using with our early game team. So hopefully it doesn't get completely rolled by this. But we do have a lot higher stats because of the fact that we're using 4 dragons. We'll also be able to get the full damage off. This is the first time I'm using the Kowedo and the Dragon Assassin. Of course, I'll explain them in greater detail in the video later, but generally, rule of thumb, you'd want to use Kowedo basically as front as you possibly can. Main reason is for the high attack. The other reason is because you're going to want it to keep looping to create more and more gems, and hopefully it'll create its own purple or yellow, which would help out a lot. Like right here, it's just going to be creating 12 gems of complete random, but because it's 12, that's the highest gem spawn in the entire game that can actually keep casting over and over again. So it's going to be pretty useful. Of course, it's not always going to hit its color, as you can see, but it is pretty much always going to gain an extra turn. 12 gem spawn is a lot of gem spawn, even if there is barely any of that color on the board. So that's going to be really effective in that regard. We can destroy the yellows here. I'm considering if I should take those blues or just go for this. It needs to be a yellow surge, though, if it's going to work. So let's hope for yellow surge. Nope. Going to get the standard yellow. We are drawn back by 1 on the yellows because of our banner choice. But that's not too big a deal because we have our Dragon Tar, which will be aiming right at our yellows for us to get it up. So we don't even need to worry about that banner. That's why I said it's a double purple +1 red and the -1. So hopefully this will hit something like purple. Ideally, the best thing on a team like this is it would hit purple because it would fill up our Kowedo, plus it would start leaking into the other ones. But red and other colors would be good too. As you can see, we have hit the extra turn every single time. Something to note about the Dragonian Rogue ability, you'd normally want to try aiming it at one of these middle 4 area. It's going to be really hard to predict exactly where you should use it every single time. Mostly because the X format is a little bit weird. It's gonna take forever to... Oops! Wait, is it completely random? Oh, never mind. I lied. That's the first time I ever did it. So it actually does it straight from the middle. That's interesting. I thought you could actually target the X because I was gonna use it to drop down... I was gonna use the X to, like right there to drop down that, green, so we could get those blues. But it seems it just does it straight from the center. So that's actually pretty good then. So you could never really use it incorrectly then. You know exactly where it's going to be. Gems in X shape. Destroy gems. Based on its description, it seems like you could use it anywhere. I don't know if that's a glitch. I don't think that would be a glitch. We'll find out later. But as you can see, we just keep getting our Quaidle up over and over and over again. Just going to be able to loop pretty much endlessly for the most part. So right here, I am going to use our Dragontar again, who's just buffing us up like crazy. We'll be able to almost one-shot at this point. I wanted to use that instead of our Quaidle, mostly because I was worried about the Mercy cast. I didn't want it accidentally giving it a bunch of yellows or purples that it might have needed. And now we get the purple, now that there were literally 0 purples on the board. Luckily, we at least got a match from it. But he's just going to convert it right back out because of how much we need it. And hopefully that Inferno King misses. If it does, we pretty much just won this match because of how many skulls it's going to give. Oh, it did just go for our Dragon Soul, though, which is a bit unfortunate. That's exactly what I was worried about with using this team. And it's going to get Inferno King off too, but we're going to swipe that down, take away so Inferno King can't do anything, plus we'll get all of the mana. And he should miss. As long as he misses, we'll be in a good position right here. That does look like a miss to me. Yep, complete miss. So we pretty much won this match. We'll be able to utilize the Quaidle's extremely high attack right here and just completely destroy his team. And if he didn't devour that Dragon Soul, we could have gotten quite a bit of potential out of that as well. So we'll just keep taking skulls. Just take it from anywhere as we need to. Till we run out of options. I'm going to be taking the lower skulls just so we can... Oh, wait, never mind. That did it for me. I wanted to take the lower skulls so we could take that down just so he couldn't take skulls the following turn. So we'll take it this way. Just to make sure we don't give him free purples. And there we go. We just got 2 kills with the Quaidle by doing that. And he keeps grading yellows. That's being really annoying this match because he keeps converting out our purples, which we need, for the yellows, which we don't need at all. So a little bit of poor choice. This team, obviously, with the -1 on Banner, and the fact that it's so purple dependent, is a little bit bad against Mercy and Alchemist, which is funny because we're up against both of them in this match, which is a bit unfortunate. But of course, we can just keep using the Dragontar. He'll just keep buffing us up eventually until we just one-shot them. Yeah, actually, we can one-shot them right now, even with the Mercy HP buffing. So that's not really a big deal at all. Let's use the Quaidle real quick. See if we can get the mana. And we do. There it goes, blue. As long as it hits on the color that's on the board, it's pretty much always going to be getting an extra turn. 12 gem spawn is a lot of gems to spawn. So right here, we could go for a hit. I think I am going to go for the hit. Let's just remove those greens real quick, get them out of the way. Never mind, I lied. We'll go for the skulls, and that will be the match. So we did actually, unfortunately, get our Dragon Soul killed off by that. But as you can see, the new troops are doing it quite well. And the fact that we're just using a double 4x bonus, all from the same kingdom, all dragons, works out pretty well, even if we do lose the Dragon Soul. The Dragon Soul, of course, is mainly there as full AoE damage to damage all of the enemies, as well as for the souls. But yeah, definitely use some event keys to get the Dragon Soul this week. It is a great offensive alternative to that of Valkyrie. It can still farm the full max souls per match. And personally, I find it to be a lot more fun than the Valkyrie, mostly because it's a little bit more unpredictable with the explosions. Plus, it can end up getting mana to everything, whereas Valkyrie is limited only to blue spawn teams. Though, the Dragon Soul is limited a bit. The Dragon Soul is limited more to just dragon teams. But hey, dragons are awesome, so that's not a problem at all. Anyways, that'll wrap it up for this video. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.